Hello, YouTubers. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a good day. And I also hope that you're praying the rosary each and every day. You know that Our Lady has 15 promises for us if we are devoted to praying the rosary each and every day. And I hope you're doing that. Today we're going to be going over a book in the New Testament. This will be the book of Matthew. It'll be chapter 25, verses 14 through 30. And this is a parable regarding the talents. And I spoke about this once before, but I wanted to readdress it because there's other meanings that I wanted to bring out regarding this particular parable. Uh, and this parable really speaks about one of God's ways. It lets us to understand how God thinks and what he expects from each one of us. So here we go.
For the kingdom of heaven is as a man travelling into a far country, who called his own servants, and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth, and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh, and reckoneth with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came, and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went, and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. His Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and that in my coming I should have received mine own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. For unto every one that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Okay, well, that's the parable. And like I said, it's a powerful parable. It has a lot of meanings to it. And I wanted to go over a couple of things that I haven't touched on before. And I was stricken by this recently because, the man, the Lord of the servants left, and he gave one servant 5 talents, the other one 2 talents, the other one 1 talent. And the first 2 took those talents and they multiplied them. And the Lord of the servants was very happy in regards to what they did. And the servant, the servant of the Lord, or the Lord of the servants would say, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler of many things. And he said that and he said, Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. So, and it happened to the first 2. So these first 2 servants took what they had, was given to them, and they multiplied them. And then the Lord of the servants said that, I'm going to make you ruler over many things now. I gave you a few things. Now I'm going to be giving you more things to do, and you can be a ruler of many things. So they're multiplying. They multiplied the talents that were given to them by the Lord, and now the Lord is also giving them more things to do, more talents, and they're progressing through life. The third servant, the one who was given only one talent, says here that he was afraid, and I was afraid. So I went and hid thy talent. So he was afraid, where the other two wasn't. They weren't afraid. They were willing to sacrifice and do work, and they had the confidence in themselves to multiply the talents, where the one that had only one talent was afraid. So when he handed back the talent to the Lord said, or answered him, thou wicked and slothful servant. So the Lord was telling him that he was slothful, that he was lazy. It wasn't that he wasn't calling him afraid, or he wasn't calling him a scaredy cat or a little wimp. He was calling him lazy. You're lazy. And being lazy is a mortal sin. So what happened to this particular servant? He was the talent he had was taken away from him, and then he was cast into the outer darkness where he would suffer. Now, if you go to how we're living in today's society, it's the complete opposite. Now what we do is we have people who make money. They're using their talents, they're making money, and what happens to them is the government takes away their talents and gives it to the slothful servants, which is the total opposite of what God's ways is. And this is what struck me more than anything. When I thought about it, I had this idea that came in my head. And I said, this is totally against what God does. This idea of socialism, where you take away from the people who are producing and giving it to the people who aren't producing, is totally what God does not want to happen. It's not God's way. It's totally the opposite of God's ways. God's ways would be, if you're going to be slothful, if you're going to be lazy, if you're going to be unproductive, God would take away your stuff and cast you out. So where there'll be suffering and gnashing of teeth. But what happens in our society is, if you're slothful, they take away from the people who are multiplying their talents, and they give it to the slothful people, which is basically rewarding a mortal sin, which is totally against what God wants. So I would hope that our society would heed God's ways and reverse what we're trying to do, because it's not God's way. It's just like in the ocean. The weak and the feeble become dinner, and only the stronger survive. The most productive survive. But when it comes to our world, this land, this society, it's really the complete opposite. The more you have, the more they take. The less you have, the more you get, which is the complete opposite of God's ways. And that's basically what I had for you for this particular parable. I hope you understood it. I hope you appreciated it. Uh, Thank you for listening to my video. And please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And as always, God bless.